Hey guys, and welcome to my next live commentary. Today is the 10th episode, and today I'm going to be doing Chaos Dwogres. Now, everyone kept asking for solo necks, and I can't exactly do solo necks on a commentary, and plus, I kind of don't want to show it on a video, because it is like exploiting a little bug in the game, and it will be fixed soon anyway, confirmed by Mod Crystal, so I don't want to exactly show you it and make a guide on it when it's going to get fixed anyway. So, I'm doing Chaos Dwogres. Now, if you've never done these before, this will give you a rough idea of what to do. You don't have to use a Divine, but cannoneers is very recommended, and then you pray range. And then you can use a cannon, you can kill them very, very quickly, and a Steel Titan is going to make that even faster. So I'm just going to give you rough information about this. And today's episode I'm going to be discussing updates that have changed since I started playing this game. And I need an Excalibur spec. Let's go in. So I'm going to be discussing updates that have changed since I started playing this game. So like big game changes like the Squeal of Fortune, to be fair, and major updates like the wilderness removal, etc. And I'm going to be discussing little just updates that I've seen while I've been playing the game, and updates that I've liked, updates that I haven't liked, etc, etc. You get the idea. So the theory of this technique of killing Chaos Dwogres is that all the hand cannoneers obviously use the hand cannons, and unless you're standing next to them where they can melee you. If you but the melee is very weak, but that's why you're praying range. But these Chaos Dwogres, they attack with mage from a distance, and why the hell am I avenged, I do not know, but yeah, them Chaos Dwogres attack from mage from a distance, so that is why I took them out like first by myself. That was like what I aimed to do, because I don't want to get damaged by the mage. The other damage I'm taking is the melee from the hand cannoneers, which is why Ganodermic's perfect, because Ganodermic I'm going to be it's got massive mage and melee defense, so therefore it's perfect for tanking all the melee and mage hits. Wonder if I'll get something. I did do some of these a couple of weeks ago trying to get some, so like a D pick, but never got any luck. I just got loads of effigies. I got 3 effigies in just a couple of hours here. My luck is insane, trust me, for effigies. And so updates that, like, I remember when I first signed up to RuneScape, it was obviously, I wasn't a member straight away, but all I remember being on the homepage, I never read the homepage, I never really took notice of it. Didn't read it. I think a lot of players are like that and don't take notice of anything on it. But the update on the homepage at the time was Barbarian Assault. Barbarian Assault had just been released, which is quite ironic because that's like the first major guide that I did. I released one for all parts of Barbarian Assault. And I hope you find that if you haven't seen that and you do want some help with Barbarian Assault, please go and check that out. It's like some of the first videos on my channel, and that should really help you, especially with like the defender role. And yeah, the Barbarian Assault was first, but I didn't really know about it. I kind of knew that you had to get friends, and I always figured you do it once and that was it. I kind of always figured, oh, one day I'll get all my friends and we'll go and do it, 5 people, and just go and do it and kill one queen. And I was thinking you only did it once and you got like a reward, but I didn't really know anything about it, that you had to build up points in each role and do lots of runs, you don't just do one. But obviously never got around to doing it with friends, and that's the moral of that story. But as for updates since then, I didn't really take much notice for a while, and then I started reading the homepage a lot. I remember when ZMI Alta came out, I can't remember the date, but I remember I wasn't actually in ICT, and I was playing RuneScape in ICT in school. This was like a long time ago, obviously. A complete nerd playing at RuneScape in school. That's sad, isn't it? It's just in ICT instead of doing work, sitting playing RuneScape. No problem with that. Reading the update, you know. Want to see what the ZMI Alta was all about. But at that time, no, I didn't really know it was the best. I didn't really care too much. I didn't sit there and think, oh, what's this going to do to runecrafting? I didn't really take any notice. I just got on with it. I didn't realise it was the best at the time, and I didn't realise it really revolutionised runecrafting, because before ZMI, runecrafting XP per hour was very, very slow. And was summoning out? I think summoning was out when ZMI came out, so summoning had made runecrafting a bit faster, because you could craft nature runes for 27k an hour with Grok. But before that, it was insanely slow. I'm not sure how fast fire runes are, because I know you can use Ring of Duelings to Alcarid, and then that's right next to the spawn of the fire altar. So that was like the best way to train runecrafting, I think, back then. And obviously before the Abyss, that would have still been the best place. But imagine crafting the higher level runes before the Abyss. Imagine having to go craft death runes. It's such a piss take to get to. I mean, how would anyone craft death runes? There's no one, like, the price of them must have been like, imagine if surges were out then when it was impossible to craft bloods. The prices of the stuff. Whoa! I just resized RS there. My mistake. So you can see in this gear I'm not taking much damage. Obviously the Define helps, but works pretty well. I should turn that game to filter, to be fair. That way. Ooh, hand cannon shots. Hand cannon shots? They're not worth too much, but definitely worth picking them up. And then obviously you get hand cannons and stuff too. You'll see them quite often if you're doing this cannon technique, because you kill so many. So as for that, I remember obviously I was getting Questgate was my first main goal, and like obviously I was quite a low level when I was doing it, and I did get the Questgate at the lowest combat level possible, which is 85, because a quest called Dream Mentor came out, and that was an 85 combat requirement. I did remember it coming out like during the time of me starting on Questgate, but obviously I did read it, but I didn't do it until later on, and that was a hard quest. I mean, I could see why there was an 85 combat requirement, because that final boss fight, you fight like loads of enemies in a row, and back then I didn't really know too much. I had full bandos. I mean, I had a decent amount of money to afford gear, and it was still difficult. I mean, you had the the inadequacy, I think it is, the first one, and it's like level 300 plus. I was like, holy shit, this is nearly the same level as the Calphite Queen. That's like the highest boss in the game, because I was that long ago when Calphite Queen was just the best, and I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be hard. And then you had to fight loads of monsters after it, but I remember I used almost all my food on the inadequacy, and the rest like took none. And when you got that worm thing that doesn't attack you and just digs, I was like, oh my god, yes, I can do it. Got no food, but it doesn't even hurt me. Quite cool, to be fair. But yeah, I remember getting, like, I was training Slayer, and because that was the last requirement for the last quest, I needed like 65 or 55 or something like that, and I finally got it, and well, it was almost got it, and then the new quest came out. Back to my roots, like 69 Slayer requirement. I was like, 4 more levels? Oh, for freaking hell's sake. Because I hated Slayer. You have no idea. Because it was so slow back then. I couldn't really afford, well, I could have afforded a cannon, but I never really saw too much benefit in doing it. Don't know why I didn't, but like, I know today, like, cannon is definitely worth using no matter what, because it increases your XP so much. And I always just did it almost every task. I think it took me ages to get Slayer Helm because I kept cancelling tasks and stuff, so I had to use like a black mask, and it was so depressing. I did like loads of newbie tasks. Obviously I wasn't high combat levels, so tasks were even slower, had low combat stats, and yeah, that's why I ended up getting 99 attack without using Slayer, because I just hated Slayer so much. But now I kind of like it more now. I don't like it really, but I just prefer, it's a decent skill. I don't mind it so much, and it's not too bad to train because it's such a variable thing, because you're not doing the same monster over and over again. Although sometimes if you get the same task quite close together, it gets very annoying. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't be bothered doing about 220 Dark Beasts. I've just spent an hour there. Like, that, sometimes I get that feeling. But eventually, obviously, the Back to My Roots quest, I remember that release, and so I kind of did that. Anyway, next major release I think would have probably been the Wilderness. Like, I do remember a few other quests coming out. Like that one where you gotta kill the, you know, where you gotta go up the beanstalk and kill the giant. I remember that one coming out. That was quite fun, and I found that boss really hard as well. But the next major update I'll probably talk about is the Wilderness one. Obviously that was such a major change, and to this day I still stand that kind of ruined the game. Obviously I didn't notice bots back then because I was so low level. I didn't really care, didn't know the difference. Well, I knew there was bots in the game, and you obviously saw them all in the most basic gear, chopping yew logs and stuff, and I just never cared because I had no reason to care. Like back then I didn't really play the game enough. Why the fuck did I not switch back to range pro? Could have got wrecked there because these things can like max of 300. I mean Gano with no range defense, which isn't good. Yeah, but the other thing to mention about this place is that your like rapier will drain so fast. I'm already down to 99%. But by the end of this trip, like you're literally in combat straight for an hour. You don't stop. It's effigy. Oh yes, my luck with effigies here. What the hell? My luck on vids for effigies. Just tell Elf Tales there because she stalks me on all these vids. Every live constant is just there. I say I'm gonna record that, and then she's like, I'm coming. You know, can't stop her. Wild for me. But So the wilderness removal did spoil the game in my opinion, because obviously the wilderness removal led to the GE having to be there, basically, because really it was difficult to trade, because you couldn't really select your price, because you had to go for the current price, and the only way to affect the market was to use the GE. That was what forced the prices to go up or down. Regular trades did not affect the price, so obviously that was the problem. I mean, and the GE, well, maybe not so much the wilderness removal, but the GE is what ruined the game. But obviously the wilderness removal led to that. The GE probably wouldn't have been invented without it. And what the GE did to me is remove interaction. Now obviously you're sitting there thinking, oh my god, life without the GE. Standing back in banks, having to trade and type 1 billion times saying buying rope is obviously quite tedious, and it gets very annoying. Apart from that, for quest items, because I know I got Questscape before the GE, and I mean, trust me, I know it's annoying to stand in banks buying quest items. But back then I was so noob that I didn't know the best place to go and buy these items. I would just stand in whatever bank I was and try to buy it, hoping someone would sell me. And really that was the way it worked, kind of thing. Every bank had people standing there buying and selling stuff. And World 2 Falador Park was where everyone traded and sold a lot more expensive stuff, and stuff in bulk more, like stuff that you'll actually spend a lot on, kind of thing. And to me that was fun. Like, I mean, fair enough, 95% of people used an autotyper because you didn't want to type stuff flashing and waving 70 billion times a minute. And yeah, it was fun because it was more of a marketplace. You could actually compete for prices. If you wanted to buy something quick, you could pay a lot for it. If you wanted to get a higher price for something, you'd spend longer selling it. And it was proper merching back then. It wasn't. Now, currently, to flip on the G, which merchants, it's just exploiting the G's, like how the G works, and exploiting that to get the best prices and stuff. And you know what I mean? And before, you had to actually compete. If somebody was sitting there selling it cheaper than you got screwed. I mean, people would obviously go and buy off them. So you had to either like hope you get noticed and the other person doesn't, or like wait it out until he's finished selling. You know, it was a proper marketplace. I mean, I just kind of miss it. I don't know how it's just nostalgia, and like just because I miss like that sort of thing, because you did spend quite a lot of time in World 2, and it was just I kind of like the idea of it as well. But it's the fact that you could compete for herb lore prices. You could manage to break even on herbs because you could try and sell it for a certain price. But currently, you've got. Basically, all you were competing against is the other people in World 2. Now, you compete about the whole of RuneScape that I've got herbs left in G. If you want to sell something for higher, you put it in the G, leave it, and don't go back. There's no effort involved. And if everyone else below you sells out, then you can get them. But you're competing against the whole of RuneScape as well. It's not just your world, and there goes IRC. It's not just your world that's going. It's not just your world that's selling. Or not just World 2, where there's a couple of people selling Raynor herbs. You've got the whole of RuneScape. People that have left Raynors in the G and went to do something else. It's impossible to like try and get better prices for things than they're worth. And you could also do it the opposite way. I remember trying to buy iron ores for 35 GP each when they were 100. And I spent a few days trying to buy some. And I don't know why, but I just did. And I spent a few days trying to get some, and eventually I did. I'm not really... Generally, if I'd be doing this Chaos Dwogres, I'd be still split flicking, and I wouldn't really have to use these brews, just not really concentrating enough to just use soul split. I kind of miss that, because currently it's just ruined the community to me. I mean, you had to talk to people, you had to buy stuff off other people, but now you can play this game muted and it really doesn't make a difference. Obviously mute was a big deal back then, because you could not buy stuff. Quick Chat was released and you could type on Quick Chat to buy stuff, and I guess that did work, but hand cannon shots. You could do that, but I mean it did spoil the game a lot more because you had to join in with the community. Obviously you got dungeoneering now, you can do muted, but you got to be pretty good at it and probably know the people that you're DJing with so that they know what to do. They're used to your tactics when DJing, etc. But muting did have a big impact back then. And I was muted at one point. I got muted for 6 months, which is just a complete mistake as well. Like the appeal system was back then was just auto responses, so it was just a mistake. It was like it had been auto added, or the Gmod had done it, had not read it properly, and so I got permuted, like literally 10 black marks for one swear word or something like that, which it wasn't even a swear word if like they took notice of it. And so yeah, I did get permuted for that. I don't know why it was so bad, but it happened. And then I was permuted for about 6 months. This was like just before I was getting my first, oh god, attack the Chaos Dwogre. This is before I was getting my first 99. It was literally when I was starting to hunt. And quick check, I just logged on, I was trying to type, I was like, it said you were permanently muted. Please check your bans and offences. I was like, holy crap, what? And yeah, but so that obviously that did suck. But quick chat was released like literally, I think a week later, something like that. And so it was perfect timing really for me. And quick chat, I guess, I don't, no one uses it. People just use it to take the piss on and type the useless crap that's randomly in it for no reason. But it's in game, and I guess the main use is for muted people. But I always wondered why, to this day, on quick chat, there is not an option to say I am muted. There's an option saying I cannot use the keyboard, or I have to use quick chat, but there's none just saying I am muted. Why not? It's common sense for one to just say I am muted, since that's the main use of it. But yeah, I got so used to the quick chat. I was really good at it because obviously I was muted for so long. I was just, all I had to do was type on that, and I knew all the codes. I could do it really fast for free. I knew everything. And then one update, it was just after I got unmuted, they changed quick chat codes. They did a quick chat update and added new messages and changed half the codes, and I knew nothing because they changed all the codes. So from then on, I've really lost everything to do with quick chat. I guess that was the one update that happened. And then I guess more recently, updates, like, you know, most of the updates, nothing major, nothing too major, but they've always done big quests and things. When Wildgothic Sleeps came out, I didn't really know anything about the TDs. Again, I was a lower level player, I wasn't too good, and I guess I was reasonably high level back then, but not too high level. And I just never took notice of the TDs. I didn't realise there was a boss after, because I don't know if I didn't read updates properly. Oh god, I just moved that. I don't know if I just didn't read updates properly, or... there we go, I think that's back. I don't know if I just didn't read updates properly. That's the 70 millionth time I said that. But I just didn't know about the TDs. I didn't know there was a boss after. Like, I know you did it in the quest, but I assumed that was just like a quest boss. And I did love that quest. I did it with my friend, and that was one of the... But RS back then, I liked it. Like, without free trade, I didn't really mind RuneScape. Obviously, it was different, and a lot of players quit it, but I didn't care about the wilderness. I never did, and because I never PK'd, and I kind of liked the game with free trade. Obviously, it had a few restrictions. Like, I know Divine you could just not buy, because Divine's price was always above GEs, and since it was so far above GEs, no one ever sold it on the GE. So what causes an item to go up is when it's sold on the GE, and since no one ever sold one on the GE because it was so ridiculously low price, it never went up. So to get a Divine, you had to get it yourself, or you had to use junk trade, and that was something that was awful, I think, during that time, was junk trading, because items that were basically worth more on the G than they actually are. So basically, like Addy Arrows P++, you dropped them from Zami, and they were like probably like 100 GP each, but on the G they were nearly a K each or something stupid. So that's like idea of junk trading, using items that are worth much more than they actually are on the GE, so you could trade stuff over. Well, they're worth much less than they're worth on the GE, sorry. So you could trade stuff, you'd give them 100 mil worth of stuff, but it'd actually say in the trade 700 mil or something like that. You get the idea. So that was basically like how it worked, and they did the release of Mobilizing Armies, and this is when they stopped doing behind the scenes, because Mobilizing Armies was announced like mid-year, and they said it's been delayed. There's a massive delay on it, and it took an extra half a year before it was released or something ridiculously long. And a lot of people complained. I don't know why people complained or even cared. I don't know why people complain about things like that. It's just, I think it's sad, because Jagex are doing the best to put out updates. You know, they get... What other company in the gaming industry puts an update out once a week? Fair enough, Jagex aren't every week, but they're almost every week. They're very good at getting updates out. and they spent a lot of time. You see, like when they mentioned in the Mod Crystal podcast, it was a year to develop Ritual of the Martyr. I mean, one quest, and they release one quest a month normally. I know they haven't for the last couple of months, but normally once a month. And Ritual of the Martyr, I know fair enough most quests aren't that long and difficult, but quests take a long time to develop and to get them out. I mean, the amount of effort that goes into them. I don't know why people complain when an update doesn't come out on time. It's just, it's fate. Anything can go wrong randomly near the time of release. So I don't see why people care that much. But I know mobilizing armies was really delayed, and since so many people complained, Jagex were like, fine, we're not doing behind the scenes. So that basically they were so pissed off that people kept complaining that they just stopped doing behind the scenes. Then people didn't know what updates were coming, so people couldn't complain if they weren't released on time, because they didn't say these are the updates for November, so expect these. And if one made December only, then people would probably complain. So they didn't stop doing that. And then eventually there was enough call for behind the scenes to come back, and I love behind the scenes. I hated it while it was gone. Although the other benefit of it not being there was the fact that you had no idea what update was coming, and I guess it was quite exciting to wait upon week to find out what updates it's going to be. That was quite fun, but I don't think I was ever too pleasantly surprised. Obviously they brought it back, and there's been a few updates since that have been delayed. Like Elite Clues got delayed a month, I think. I need to pick up my cannon and drop it down. Doesn't seem like I've got a dragon pickaxe yet. That's very disappointing. In before I've just had one, and I've just missed it, you know. I can't open my effigy really because I'm in combat 24/7. I need an Excalibur spec. Excalibur spec. Go, go, go. 3 HP. I should eat a brew. So I'm just eating brews instead of just soul split flicking like I should be. You can see how many. You can see all the bones all over the floor. How fast I'm killing these. It takes quite a while. The pick is quite rare considering how many you're killing. I see, this is one of the drops that I need for my Road to 1 bill, so I'm hoping to get it soon. In the next episode of that might be out tomorrow, or possibly in a couple of days, and on that episode I should be showing you like a list of the items I'll need to get in a notepad or something, and the list of which ones I've already got, etc. So I hope you look forward to that. And I think that's really all I have to talk about in this video, because I think I've discussed most of the old updates, like most of the recent ones everyone knows about. Obviously, like Squeal of Fortune, I have my opinion on that. But the free trade coming back, obviously everyone is excited about this, and everyone voted yes, pretty much. There's a few people that could see the future. But the problem was, Jagex said we can deal with bots, and they couldn't. They did eventually, with the bot nuke, which is pretty much lowered bots to a reasonable level. I mean, it's got quite bad now again. But the fact is, Wilderness came back over a year ago now, and bots are still not dealt with fully. And in my mind, if they were going to bring the Wilderness back, they should have had it already. They should have had it, basically this update, Optimus, and the Cluster Flutterer should have already been in-game. They should have been ready for release with the Wilderness update, the stop bots, and that's basically my eyes. Like, I don't see why. And bots has ruined the game. Bots killed so many players quit. People didn't start, because if you went to free-to-play, you've seen the state of the game in free-to-play, it was full of bots. That's effectively what free-to-play was. And there was obviously some legit free-to-play players, but it was, as soon as you logged in and signed in, you got spammed by ad bots trying to sell you gold. It was just ridiculously annoying. I mean, any new player was put off the game. So basically, our new memberships just died. Like, now there's so few free to play. If you remember when you first started, bet your Lumbridge was like packed, and you'd like Lumbridge would be full of people just randomly chatting. Free to play just full of random people just talking to each other, trading with each other, etc. And now it's just it's purely dead, because there's such a lack of current free to play players that when people sign up, no one's there, and people are like, oh, this game's dead. And it is. I mean, the amount of players now in comparison to the past is so low, and what Jagex need is new players. I mean, they've got they've got a lot of members, but they just need new players, otherwise the game will die soon. And in my eyes, basically, the bots did ruin that, because they stopped people signing up, put people off. But now the bots are pretty much gone, and hopefully will be gone soon with the Optimus update, which I'm not sure when will release, but it is due soon. So that should clear up the bots, and hopefully the game will start to revive again, as long as Jaggers don't do too many gold grabbing scams and stuff, because obviously Squeal of Fortune has made a lot of people quit, but I don't think new players will really be put off by it, because they won't think anything of it. But so I guess that's it for this video, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed this little discussion I've had with yous. Please leave your opinions in the comments, and please don't forget to post a topic and boss for next week in the comments below, and do thumbs up any topics you want me to discuss, because basically I need ideas for what to talk about in the video, and I'm not sure what boss to do either. If you don't pick a boss, I'll just pick one myself, but make sure you post a topic, what you want me to talk about. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video.